It's like deja vu, isn't it? Me stood behind a lot of boxes of fabric. Good morning, how are you? I hope you're having a fabulous day so far. It's been a nice gentle morning, hasn't it?
It has actually, not too stressful.
Sometimes I worry when that's the case.
Yeah, we do get a bit like,
What have we forgotten? Yeah, that's exactly it. What were we meant to do that we haven't actually done? I don't know, it'll be something like turn the microphones on or something. Can you hear us? Because we are live. We are live. Let me just see if I can find us. Oh, here we go. See, if I refresh the page, I can find it. I'm a dab at this now, Jane, let me tell you. We've only got one comment. Oh, and that's from me. Morning to myself. Didn't even know. They put out an automatic thing that says about supporting with stars. Don't really understand that. But some people are really generous with their stars, so it's all good.
really nice.
I know. Oh, no, there you go. Pauline. Hi.
Hello, Pauline.
You know, succinct and to the point. Christine and Lorna, good morning. And 14 other have suddenly joined us. Here, there and everywhere. Morning, Margaret. Yes, can hear you. I mean, that's one potential that we can just strike off the list straight away. We're here. You can hear us. We have a gorgeous quilt behind us. We've got kits together. We have got, all sorts of goodies today. Lots of lovely things. Now, yesterday, I do realise that I hesitate to use the word shambolic, but with a small person helping, maybe the fabrics didn't get shown off to possibly their best.
Maybe.
Potentially. They were sort of rushed away because someone was being helpful. Hey, look, I'm not turning down help, but I do also realise that what I've done for you today is put the Lisa Chandler fabrics in colour families, and I will also give you the code because, just on the odd one, because with the Hampton stripe in particular, we've got a bright red and a more muted red.
Yeah, there's a couple, isn't there?
And it's the more, that are really, really close, and you might not get it. And that's why we take the time here to show you this. Oh, my swimming days. I didn't think I'd be swimming this morning. Morning, Helen. Sunny in Hampshire. Would we say it was sunny here, Jane?
I think it might be later.
It might burn through, mightn't it?
It was very foggy when I left this morning.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, bit of fog. You see bright sunshine everywhere else. Basically everywhere else in the country, bar here. It's all right. I won't take it personally. It's fine. We've also got half metre heavens all cut and ready for you, along a bit of a theme. Hope you're going to like it. I know you're going to like it because, you know, it's from one of our favourite designers. Right, what I'm going to do is shuffle a few of those out the way so that we can... Oof, blimey. They don't get any lighter, do they?
No, they don't.
I was clearing stuff around this morning so that we could actually... it sounds pretentious to call it a gym. It's got a power plate and a few dumbbells in it. But it's my space. And I haven't been able to get in there for over a year because of general reuse. Oh, someone put those fans in there. I like that. You know, it's time to beat the lockdown lard. I'm going to beat it good. So let's show you some of these potentials because we are on a Lisa Chandler quilt based day, and so these fabrics had arrived. So now this is upside down. These are fans in cream. Okay, they're fans in cream. They're a great blender. They go with pretty much everything. Now this and this, what colourway are we calling this? Is it jade? I would like it to be jade because of the, you know. No, it does say jade. You are completely right. So we would be, if you were to ask us, nobody does, Jane. Actually, no, it's not true. Actually, lots of you do. I would be going cream, the jade flowers. What do we call these?
Blossom, is it?
Blossom.
Is it the blossom flower? No, maybe it's not blossom.
Blossom in green and cream. I want it to be jade to go with that because it's the same colour. But no, I'll be talking to Lisa about that. Lisa, I want to rename everything because someone tried to call this plum yesterday. have you got the flowers in plum, the blossom in plum? But it's actually purple. Now, I've got this out. Uh-oh. You see, this is why, Jane, I don't trust myself with mugs anymore. Right, so they work beautifully together. I'm going to pop that to one side for now. Purple, not plum. Although, do we call this purple? You see, this is where it's confusing because this is plum. But that's purple. It's the same. So, if you would like, then we've got the dragons in plum. Lisa, we're going to have a conversation about this. Plum, purple, but it's plum. It's the same. It does match beautifully. And this is upside down. And this is the wicker in green, which is the green that's in there. Yeah. But if, just bear with me, caller, for 1 second. If you put that in, it does pick up that bit. So it's not wrong.
No, it's a nice deeper shade.
It's whatever tickles your fancy. I just possibly wouldn't put those two together. Pick one or t'other.
That green doesn't quite go with the jade.
No, and yet it's in there and it pops and it works in there. It's in all of the little highlighty bits. So I would go one or other. I'd go jade or green. Would be, just if I was to, personally shop for you or anything like that. And then, you see, blender, mixer, everybody should have that, is my small personal opinion on that. I'm going to pop that down to one side. I am not going to get rid of these yet. No. I'm going to pop that to one side there and bring this department in, because here we have, now what are this one called? This one is ivory and grey, but it's got black going into, it goes from grey into black, whereas this one is black.
That's got a real richness to it because it's got the
So that's black and grey, which then works beautifully with that. But again, if you're going for that lighter look, bring in the cream ones. And I just wanted to go through these with you, just take a little bit of time because we didn't really have much time. Our friend the Hampton stripe.
Looks beautiful with it.
Wouldn't that make an amazing border for your quilts with this? And then if we bring in the blossom as well, the blossom works beautifully across the board here. So you can introduce other colours, or if you're just going for, now you see, look at this. I always go to the wrong end, doesn't matter which option it is. This is your wicker and cream from the Summer Palace. Okay, so that is going to go beautifully there. If you want to bring in, here we go. So if you went with, I said I'm going to put this down here in case I need it back. If you went with the jade, rather than go with the green wicker, go with the cream wicker. And then you're picking out that richer colour there, in there, and then you've got that. So you've got your dark, your medium and your light shades for your work. Or if you're not going for the jade dragons, then absolutely bring in that green, because the green is in there. It depends what emphasis you want to put on stuff, doesn't it?
This is how the fabrics work so beautifully together, though, don't they? Because even the ones that aren't in the Summer Palace collection,
they work. They just work. And I have to say that Lisa she's so thoughtful like that. She really, really, really has worked hard getting these absolutely spot on for you. Now, again, if you don't want such a dark base, go for that Hampton stripe. And that one, when you're looking, is called, have you got Penny writing these down? Gold and cream. So you see, doesn't that change everything up a little bit?
Yeah, it's softer, isn't it?
It is a bit. So if I move these two out of the way, in fact, these three, because they're like your three really big, bold scenarios over there. Oh, this is why I need to go to the gym. and let's bring in our gold dragons. If you wanted to still have a little bit of the, then you've got that scenario. Or maybe you do want to swap out and you want to just keep the gold element coming through. This is the beauty of it. They are going to work so beautifully together, no matter which way up you want to work them. See, that's just quite gentle, isn't it? It's rich but gentle. And then if you wanted to just invite in one little colour, you've got all of these golds. How soft is that? Oh, actually, I really like that.
Just make it with a little, it really pops the gold.
Yeah,
in the pattern,
it's one of those things, you know, you've got your option for bringing in your opulent purple there. And again, that looks phenomenal. But if you don't have much purple in your house, or if that's too dark for you, then yeah, this just gives you a hint of colour, gives you a little bit of that green and a little bit of that purple just to play with. So I wanted to bring these in and just show you round these a little bit, because they possibly didn't get the love they deserved yesterday, because, you know, we had kittens and 7-year-olds. It's a heady mix. Haha, now this is it. So this is the one. If you're going with the reds, then it's always on the plastic fold, Jane. I've just bought 4 new pairs of glasses. I still need to actually get out to an optician's, but just so I can see. Orange, cream and green. It's the cream that is, because the other one is brighter.
Yeah, the background is more of a
Yeah.
colour, isn't it?
Now you've got your fans, but you see, look, can you see? These are the greens that we're going. These are it's the red that I've tried to pick out here. Actually, could you pass me the other green and red? It is there. Hello, Gemma. If Jane's been speaking, we can't hear you.
Oh,
Oh, did you turn your mic on?
well, it was. I'll go and double check. It says it's on. Or am I on mute?
Have you muted yourself?
Is it? Which way is it for muting myself? Doesn't say.
It says mute. Yeah, you've muted yourself. There you go.
Oh well.
Apologies for anyone that didn't hear anything that Jane said.
It wasn't very interesting.
You know, it must have sounded like I was just chatting to myself.
You probably heard a bit of a
Bit of a background.
a bit like
Yeah.
the peanut teacher.
Love peanut. Actually, this does work as well, doesn't it? So again, this is going to be whether you want a slightly more muted version with the cream, or whether you want ivory. Red, cream and ivory. So that's the ivory, it's lighter. That's your cream. So this has got the brighter green in that's in there, and that's got more of the olive tone. So it's, yeah. You choose basically which one you want. I do like that. Actually, in daylight, I like that one.
There's definitely a brightness, isn't there, in that one?
There is a brightness in
Because
here.
they're saying it's, Lisa says it's red, and there is a very subtle difference between her red and her orange.
Look at this.
And they're both in the pagoda one, aren't they? The red and the orange.
Yeah, that's rather lovely as well.
That's
So you won't be disappointed if you go for either, to be fair. So we've got the wicker, we've got that's the ivory, cream and green, ivory, green and red rather. That's your blossom flower, beautiful. You see, I just think if you bound in that, it would give it so much interest.
Yeah.
Your fans are obviously beautiful. Now, I thought, these are your big fans, by the way, with all your dragonflies. You can really see these on here. If there is another quilt pattern to come using these fans.
Yeah.
But the quilt that we've got today, if you fussy cut and put fans in those pockets,
Yeah.
it would be it would be beautiful.
Quilt, yeah.
Really beautiful. So I just wanted to throw that idea at you. So that is the red department. Great lot of them, Jane. Whoop. 1, 2, 3, hop! And then the blues, and then we will get on. Oh, you see, look, there's the fans in the blues. I mean, the blues are just easy, aren't they? Because you just need them all. She says, you know, in an excited fashion, basically spending all your pennies for you. But
if you put the green wicker with that as well.
oh, the green wicker's gorgeous with it as well.
Out the green in the flowers and the fans.
Yes. If you wanted fans, you know, I'm just saying that our blender fans
Works
are
really nicely.
you know, bit hard working.
There's
oh hello, Jane's having a ramage.
There's this one as well, isn't there? The flowering gum. And
Oh, the
it's got that
flowering
little
gum.
bit of green in it. There's so many of the flowering gum. There's one that's just all gold, but
But
got
this
that
one's
little
got
dash
that
of green
little
in.
hint of green. Absolutely. So that one, and again, go on the numbers on this. This is 00124, so 00124, and it is your flowering gum classic, and it's only the classic that has the green in. But again, you know, it's all works beautifully.
It does work beautifully.
Yeah, you know, and then yeah. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Right, let's have a little squiz at these half-metre heavens that will go live. I'm boxing myself in. I might never actually be able to get out at this rate, you know, Jane. There is that possibility. You see, there's me saying, I know, there's me saying that it was tricky yesterday with a little 7-year-old helper. Actually, where is he?
Yeah,
Where
really
is
use
he
him today.
Where is he right now? Let's clear the ways, clear the ways.
We had to slow him down a little bit, didn't we? Because he was running with the bolts and we were like, no, be careful.
Health and safety and all that jazz. Absolutely.
Because when you're 7, you've got all the energy, haven't you?
I've got all the energy. All the energy. Yes. Right, let's have a look at these half-metre heavens and then... oh, in my new plastic box. I know how to live right. Treated myself. Clip corners. It's an exciting time to be alive.
We love a clear plastic box.
We do. I realise that might be sad to some. There'll be others that
I
are
think
like...
our sewing ladies know the love of a clear plastic box.
I really resent paying the money for them because they're not cheap.
No.
However,
They
got
do
my
make your
leggings on
life
again
easier.
today. Nothing fits. Right, let's zoom through these for you because I know that you are waiting for Jane. Very patiently, may I add. These are your snippets. These are the last of the snippets. If you want the snippets in fat quarter form, go for it. This is what we had left over after we had made the fat quarters. And there you have it with a grey. So I've taken, because these ombre, I've just taken a part of that ombre and pop that plain in there with it, and then that is it. We will not be getting these snippets, but I don't think we even can. I think I got the last of the stock when it came out. There we go. So that's that one. This is the raspberry. I bought 3 clear plastic boxes yesterday and my fat quarters fit lovely in the boxes, says Angela. Yeah, you see, she gets it.
Yeah.
She gets it.
It's
I've only
just
got
nice
3 of
to
these.
be able to see everything in one go.
3, Jane. 3. That's it, and they're gone. Done.
I love that
These go live at midnight. You know, I have been stroking these quietly. Just, Jane made me laugh this morning. We had a big mirror, and I've moved it to put up more shelving this morning. And Gemma and Jane came and they said, but how are we going to hold bolts of cave up against ourselves and go, oh, this looks beautiful on me? I'm like, is that really what you two have been doing? That's what they do.
Yeah, we don't do much work really. We just stroke fabric and hold fabric, drape it over our shoulder and go, oh, look at the colours of that on me.
And flounce around in them. I mean, what a life. What a life.
It's so hard working here, it really is.
I love the fact that you two admit to that though.
I know.
I mean, that's it, isn't it? You know.
It's nice when you've got a boss that understands the love.
Completely. I wouldn't have it any other. If you weren't doing that, I would be worried.
Yeah, we just go, yeah, okay.
Yeah, all right then. And so, yeah, we've got, that's your navy. I've only got one of those. This is your purple. I've got, an exciting 2 of those. That's with your magenta. Look, I mean,
Magenta is perfect with that.
it's beautiful. It's all beautiful. Just strips of this. I just want to work with strips of it. Now, this one is beautiful Sally Kelly Chameleon. And the Chameleon has gone this time with Le Blush.
Nice.
It's not Le anything, I've just, you know.
Just blush.
Freddie's learning French and I'm trying to keep up. They've got some cracking games and stuff for French and maths and everything.
It's amazing
else.
what they do. I was watching him yesterday playing his maths game and I thought that makes maths so much fun.
Oh, well, he wins
That
a
he
monster.
probably doesn't even realise he's learning.
He doesn't know he's doing it at all. He loves maths. Yeah. Well, it's not monster maths, is it? What is it? What is it? Maths Tango.
Maths Tango, that's
He
it.
loves
but he
it.
earns monsters, doesn't
He earns monsters every time he gets questions right. William Morris with, what have I done? Oh, khaki. Jane, yes.
he? Mm-hmm. Just
Yes.
perfect. It just lifts that
Just beautiful.
strawberry thieves.
Just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So, but again, I've got 4. I'm waiting for a delivery. That should have been here 3 weeks ago. And again, another thing of which I have 4 is this. Now, this is the Liberty Deco Dance cushion / pillow panel. And it had to be this because there wasn't that magenta in this one, but there was the raspberry in both. I was really careful. I've got 4 of these panels left. They're basically half meters, but the printer's messed up and just put a wider white border on. So, you know, have that bit of white on us.
You could always use it.
Well, you can, can't you?
Yeah.
You know.
A little white sashing.
yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely gorgeous. You know, or just faux quilt around it. Use it as that strip and that
Yeah.
border. But like I say, I've only got 4 of these. Can't even believe that they're going into the half meter heavens. But there we have it. There are 4 left. 4 does not a show make, Jane.
No,
it does. Oh, look,
unfortunately.
I've got some more snippets here. Snippets in black. Could put this back into my box, couldn't I? That I've very carefully closed. That's helpful of myself. Black with unimaginatively, well, black.
It really pops it out,
It
doesn't it?
does.
Because you've got
Yes,
those
it
lovely greys
does.
in there.
There we go. There's that. Oh, the blue with marine. Just you wait. Just you
Loving
wait.
marine.
I nearly called you Jane Alcock. Freddie, I don't know why Freddie started doing this, but he just calls you Jane Alcock. I said, you don't call, you don't give like Inga's surname every time you say her name. What is it? He said, I don't know. She's just Jane Alcock.
Yeah. I think it's got something to do with my surname and 7-year-old boys.
He doesn't know that as a word.
Maybe not.
It's just winky
It
for
just
him.
sounds funny.
It does sound funny, but he's not at that age to know. Really, I don't think. If it was Jane Allbottom,
Yes,
he'd
that
be
would
all over
hilarious.
it. He would find that hilarious. Bless him, bless him. He'll learn. So that's the orange one. I've put that with hot tomato. Put a note to myself, I need to add 2 more hot tomatoes to that. Oh, and this is lovely. This is with lime. This is the green snippets with lime. This goes through to yellow. I was tempted to put this with a yellow, but then the lime was just like, oh.
The lime brings it all together, doesn't it?
It does. It really does. Again, I've got 4 of those and they're done. That's it. That's it. Bye-bye snippets. And then we've got Tour de Farm with pink. Ah, look at the little animals. That's with a fuchsia. In fact, I've got another one with a fuchsia. These are the only 2 Tilda offerings this week, actually. And I've only got 2 of those. But we just pulled out the pink in that. I love this.
It's so pretty. It
Can
really
you,
is.
I don't know if you can see down there, there was the bee cushion that I did. And that was the original reason that I bought in the eggnog. It might be in my Tilda sample box because, you know,
Yeah.
I've been doing that, which is just under the pig. These and other, you know, conversations.
No, that's for
Other
the
pig,
cake.
no.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Yeah. Many a pig. Just see if Jane can find it. Is it in there? No?
No, I can't
Oh,
see it,
it's
obviously.
it's in that pile down there somewhere because I was tidying. Anyway, but this, I bought this in to do the bee, and that's a free download on Tilda's World website. But it required the eggnog. What a wonderful word eggnog is. I think
It
people
is a
should say
lovely
it
word, eggnog.
more often. Eggnog.
Eggnog.
Right, I found some of this kicking about the place. Rather beautiful. Amaryllis with peacock. Yes. Quite frankly, yes. And that, right, now. On Monday we bought you Half Metre Heavens from the brand new Cave collection, and we did like the big showstopper ones. Jane and I were talking about these. These are the hydrangeas, and I love them, and I'm going to open them out because I think they need opening out for you to see the variety of colour that's in there. Now I've put marine here because there is that marine blue in there, and it all comes beautifully together. Do not overlook these because they will blend, they will bind, they are standalone beautiful. I mean, imagine having that as a flap on a bag. Just really, really gorgeous. And the other thing is, if you use these as little sections mixed through with your big showstoppers, and you've then got a coordinating fabric that is going to pick out these colours in these ones, then all of a sudden these become showstoppers too.
And a half metre of those ones, you've got several different colours that you know are going to blend. So for like EPP or little patchwork, you know, your smaller patchwork, more traditional, you've got
I
lovely
always
options.
think, yeah, that these are like multiple fabrics in one, because like you say, you might just go for this colour with the red and the blue, or you might pick out the oranges and the pink, or you might go for the blues and the pinks. You might take little sections. I've pulled out that pow, 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 pow. I need to try and find this sort of luminous greeny colour.
I know.
We've almost got it.
It's almost there, but it's not quite.
It's just slightly insipid, which is never a word I want anybody to ever say about my fabric choices. Now, this one I find very exciting. I do like this one a lot. And then, of course, had to be, didn't it?
It did. It really lifts the oranges in that.
Weirdly, it does.
Because we were like, oh, baby lime, but then it just disappeared, the lime did.
Yeah.
But put in the, is it magenta?
Yeah, and I tried it with that one, and that would have worked too, but this just somehow...
It lifts out that lime colour, doesn't it? Because it's similar to the background colour.
It's one of those, actually it's spot on with the background colour.
Yeah.
It's one of these things that, for me, this is how I would be buying these, so that I knew that I had a plain colour that went with them, and then it just mixes them through. And then if you're buying more than one, you know, the colours are gonna just work all together.
I think this is my favourite.
I love this one. This was the one that I showed you, the photo of it, and you just went, is that the same fabric? Because look at all those colours. When you just see it folded, it doesn't look it. But we've put, look at that. Suddenly, doesn't it brighten everything? And suddenly this looks pink.
Purplies colours and pinks out
Yeah.
there.
And yet all we've done is pick out the colours on here, and it's made the rest of them come. I have learned so much through just putting colours together with Cave's fabrics. Just so much about how colours work,
how
what things
work
pop
together, and how different colours can lift other colours.
Yeah, it's just phenomenal. Now these are going to be incredibly useful in your stash because you can cut them that way. Yeah. They're going to look very different to being cut that way. Again, this is one that is like many fabrics in one, because you might just want to focus on the reds or the pinks or the purples, or you might want to draw your eye to the fact that there is actually an emerald strip going all the way through that, and when you see it up close, that is it. That it just suddenly
that brings out all the red tones in that fabric by putting that green on
because
there.
it highlights
that
bit behind it. Because you're highlighting the background, it brings these forward to allow them to pop. It's really weird, and we have to do this when we do the Half Metre Heavens. It is done on a fabric by fabric basis, because that might not work on another one.
No.
you know, you can't just
You
assume.
can't always say, oh, we'll use a
we'll
background
just
colour.
pick out that background colour, because it doesn't always work. So we do put a lot of time and effort into these, trying to get them so that they will work hard for you when you get them home. We tried it with this colour. I wanted it to go with that colour. That was the colour that I chose initially, but then we couldn't get it quite right. But I tell you what I do love. I love how when I put that with it, oh,
It doesn't just bring out the blues, but it pops the orange as well, which
Doesn't
is
it?
fascinating.
because it's the complementary colour to,
Yeah.
to blue.
Yeah, definitely. But we tried orange, and orange didn't do anything.
No, it didn't. No, it just meh.
Went bleh.
But what we did discover was when we had orange next to the blue with it,
Yeah, it really looked.
it
blue.
looked phenomenal. Hang on, let me just demonstrate that. I've got, this is the closest to orange that I've got. It's hot.
It's lovely.
So if you go for this one, pop either orange or hot tomato, 1/2 metre with that, because it's 1/2 metre heaven. I can't put everything with it, Jane.
No.
And you'll see that on its own, you know, it's okay. That, absolutely, love it. That and that together, hoy!
Yeah.
That's a technical term. There we go. Oh, we have fun. Oh, we have so much fun. It's like like a little colour workshop, isn't it? Our
It
1/2
is,
metre
yeah.
heavens. We have great fun with it. Now this one, Freddie really liked this one,
I like that one.
and I've picked out a purple. It's
And
just
again,
something
it just
gentle
brings
about
the
it.
blues. It softens it, doesn't it?
Doesn't it? Yeah.
Highlights the blues and the greens in there.
You see, that's just it. Wouldn't it have looked very, very different if I'd have put black with it?
Yeah.
I wanted that softness to come out. Now, again, if you want to put a black with it, then do. Absolutely. You know, it's just playing, and you know, we sit there with 75 different colours winking at us, so we can.
Yeah.
Actually more than that, haven't we, because we've got a couple of batiks left as well. Now this one was a tawny, and this one, I think when I did the trios, I bundled this with the feathers because it would have been rude not to, right? So we've still got that trio. I can't remember what the third one was, but we do still have that trio up on the website. But here's the thing, I wanted that green.
Look how that pops those little bits of yellow out.
Doesn't it? Doesn't it? So here's the thing, if maybe you're going for more than one, I'm just going to throw this scenario out at you. Maybe, because that then also comes with the blue, which is interesting with this, and then if you then threw in a 1/2 metre of an orange in there, you've got a quilt.
Yeah,
You've got a quilt for 24 quid.
that's amazing.
A cave quilt for 24 quid.
Yeah, you've
because
got 2.5 metres of fabric.
yeah. and that's, you know, that's really the beauty of these, is that, you know, by careful buying of a couple of these, you're not breaking the bank, but my word, if you've got some fabrics that are going to work beautifully together, whether it is, we had, I think it was Jeanette, was it Nettie, who did John's Flying Dales block, and she did it as a bag,
Yeah.
and it looked phenomenal. So maybe this is what you do with it. Freddie chose this. He was really pleased with himself, and he's got it spot on.
Yeah, good choice.
He absolutely has
Yeah.
got it spot on. Couldn't have done better myself. Black would have been too dark. Purple was already too rich. Yeah, just wow. It's funny, isn't it? Because we always ooh and ah over Emily's colours, and actually Freddie's learning.
Yeah.
He used to just see green and just put green, all the greens together.
Yes.
And now he's starting to see. It's really lovely to watch. Now this one, with this one, it was a case of which one did you pick? If you picked any of these, often with the brights, I will go darker,
Yes.
for sure. And so this one is exactly that. Again, we've picked out that background. We've picked out that teal background, which then allows everything else to pop. There we go. So they're the half metre heavens. They will go live at midnight tonight. I like you to be able to see them properly and fully on the show. I know they're not live like right now, but they will be live at midnight, and that's just so.
I think it's nice to see them as well, because you can get, like you've just done, an idea of several that go together and how the colours have worked.
Just have that little play, and that's all we do. We play and play and play, and you can never have too much in your stash. That's a fact. Have you seen these, the round tipped? They're one of the new ones, the round tipped, blunt tipped rather, pocket scissors. They are phenomenal. I was, with my own personal pair, I was using them to clip Maud's ladybeard. All of my other scissors are too sharp pointed. Can't do it, too dangerous. And then I looked on a dog groomer's, wasn't paying that price for a pair of scissors. I was like, hang on a minute, the blunt pocket one will do. Yeah. Brilliant, brilliant.
They're great for snipping your threads on the backs of your quilts as well, because you're not going to run into trouble of poking your points in.
And also the squeezy ones are good for that as well. They're fab. Right, last thing before I go. I'm not going, I'm going to sit over there. But we've got the glasses case. I'm going to show this one a little closely, uppity. This is the glasses case kit. I say kit, it's actually just the pattern. And you've got some ruchy flowers in there. We've got that in a different colourway as well. Now, when we first brought this to air, we didn't have the proper one of these that went with it. We had slightly larger ones, so the template in there you had to add the seam allowance to. With these new frames, they are absolutely as the pattern says. Lovely. So you cut out your fabric as per the pattern, and there they are. They're super swanky, aren't they? Really nice. So that's your gun metal.
Gift, wouldn't they?
Do you know, it is, and I mean, we did these quite a while ago, but I couldn't get hold of these. These have had to come from, well, via all sorts of places to get hold of these. Not all these things are readily available, you know. We have to do a bit of hunting. So we've got gold, we've got bronze, or we've got... But what we've done is we've put these individually for sale, because it might it might be that that you're making them as gifts. So I didn't want you to just end up with one. This is exactly the same pattern. Do you remember this was when we very first demoed? You see, I did mine with that. That was how I did mine. But any of the Lisa fabrics will work. They're rather lovely. And this is where you use your drawing pin. That's the one. Mm-hmm. The drawing pin method. And so we have had that show. But yeah, these are the official Lisa Chandler jobby things. Frames, I have no words there, so good job it's your show. Right, just to show you as well, the micro stitch tools are in. I love these for basting quilts. I know that you like safety pins. This is my go-to, and it's horses for courses all the way. So this is also now my go-to method for basting in bag handles. Why did I
thought that was
never
genius.
I thought,
the show and I was like, Natasha, that's amazing.
Yes, because otherwise they wibble wobble around, and I hate it.
So, like you said, you get one that's right, and then the other one doesn't match, and it's just like, ugh.
You know the annoying thing though, Jane? I now have to undo all of the other bag handles. They're a bit wibbly wobbly because I now know a better way. Annoying. So we've got, I didn't know this was a thing. I didn't know, and actually I'm really glad it is. We now have replacement needles. Of course they're going to go blunt. It's a needle will go blunt anyway.
Yeah.
I absolutely adore these tools. There are your replacements, because you're going to need them, because once you start micro stitching stuff, you're going to micro stitch everything. I have also micro stitched my hems of my curtains, because we rent at some point we will move, and I don't know if I don't want to wreck the just cut the curtains and then not, you know.
Yeah, and then they won't fit the next window.
So
yeah,
I've
that's a good
actually
idea.
micro stitched hemmed mine.
Yeah,
It's
particularly
fine.
if they're going to be behind something.
Yeah, nobody cares. So there we go. That was fine until actually Theo managed to get in between because it was quite a big hem and he ripped them all down. But I like that he's left a legacy. It's all good. So there we go. It is the smallest micro stitch tool available on the market. Jane, I'm getting out of the way because I am very aware I've been chatting for quite some time now. Oh, you can watch me balance many things. Bye. There you go, over to you.
There we are. Right. Good morning. Elliot's garden. Beautiful pattern.
Now, when I gave this to you to do,
right.
your initial reaction was, well, that's not very Natasha.
It was, yeah, because it's not your colours.
No.
Necessarily.
No. I really like it.
It's
I
lovely.
really love it. Do you want
It's
to
a
show that pattern close up?
It's
There
a
we go.
lovely pattern. Well, it will be, won't it? Because it's Lisa's pattern.
So
And
you've
like
got
her fabric, she thinks about everything in the instructions and everything. And it's, I'm going to say, it's a good beginner quilt, to be honest.
yeah,
And there's a bit of applique in there, but it's such a lovely,
keeps you interest.
straightforward applique that, you know, I don't think anybody's going to struggle with it. Really nice.
And there it is behind you. It's not too huge. It's a single bed size, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's doable under your domestic machine. I know that because I've done it under my domestic machine. Yeah, I've got one that's a little bit like the Juki, but it's the Janome version and it's slightly smaller. But it's not a problem to do that size quilt under a domestic machine.
I love this. Margaret, where are the spec case frames, PT?
Come on, Jem.
They'll be, if they're not already loaded, they'll be loaded imminently.
Now then, we've got two kits because we just thought we would. Because we've got the gum leaf in red.
Oh yeah.
And I said, where the black is, it might be nice to have a pop of red.
Do you know, I said that the minute that we saw it, didn't I? I was
Yeah.
like, that, yeah. If you are someone that has reds in your homes,
Just look at that there. Boom.
yeah,
Pops it. Boom, boom, boom.
it gives it a completely different feel, doesn't it?
Yeah. And I said, well, if you're going to do a red square in it, I would frame the leaf in red. Now I've gone slightly lighter with the red just to lift it. That's scarlet actually. And then because we bound it in green originally, I've gone slightly darker with the crimson to bind it because that's going to be against black. It's always going to be framed against the black. So it's not going to be exactly next to your leaf fabric, but it'll just be the right tones of red just to lift it. And then
Nice.
in the green version, we're calling that black leaves and we're calling this red leaves, the kit.
Yeah, you see, I would call it chili pepper.
Yeah. We have got, they do look like chili peppers, don't they?
They do all of a sudden, yeah.
This is green leaves. Although it looks a bit yellowy, it's called green leaves with the black leaves and the ivory leaves.
Beautiful.
That's the kit behind me. You'll have the 3 long eighths of fabric, which is more than enough to do the leaves. That's the leaf applique. Now in the red one, we've gone with the ivory leaves just because it's a tone down from the green leaves. So it just, I felt, it's a personal thing, it works better with the red. It's just softer. I felt that was a little bit yellowy and didn't quite work with the red. I felt the ivory was better, softer. So that's
Gorgeous.
that kit with your leaf fabric. That's the red kit. And then we've got the green kit, which is your ivory, your black and your green leaves. This is sage, which we've used for the binding. And then black background. You've got your 3 leaves kit. Now you'll notice there's a fabric missing we're on a back order, aren't we, of the
which one?
chartreuse.
Oh, the chartreuse is on its way.
It's on its way, and that's the one we chose to do the frames around.
Yeah, it's a tone. You see this, we are a bit of a perfectionist. I'm not going to apologise.
It just gives you that little bit of brightness.
Yeah.
That just lifts the leaf colours just slightly and tones in nicely with everything else. So that's your green, black actually we called it, haven't we? Black leaves kit.
Yeah.
And then the red leaves kit. Just to give you, because you might just, you might feel that's a little bit dark for you, and you might just like the pop of red.
I think if you're a red person, you're a red person.
Yeah.
I don't really have a lot of red in my home.
No,
but
I don't actually.
My friends Sharon and Samsara have reds and purples, and their home is so warm and welcoming.
Richness, isn't there, about red?
But because they're not the colours that I gravitate to, I struggle to put them together.
Yeah.
But I love their home. I really admire people that can put reds together, because it's not my natural way.
Yeah.
Emma, when she was working for us, she'd always go for the reds. I can hear her now going, yeah. Maybe she'll do this in her new home that she's just moved into.
We had a bit of a giggle because I said, one of the first things I said when I came this morning, I said, one of the things I will say to the ladies and gentlemen this morning is, when you get your pattern out, don't leave it on the cutting mat when you're cutting your fabric, because I've cut through my fabric.
Did you sellotape it back together?
It is.
I was going to say
back.
I didn't ever actually.
Yeah, I glued it back together. It's just one of those things. It happens, isn't it? We've all done it. And you're slightly limited on space, and yeah, that's what happens. That's not going to stand up now. It was standing up beautifully, and then I've wafted, and it's gone.
Oh,
there we go.
There we are.
So I was going to demonstrate that colourway.
Yes.
But we're just thinking we might demonstrate the red.
I think it would be rude not to.
I was going to, you see what was in my head? I thought what I'll
Come
do
on, Jane, that
is
place.
I'll do the technique. You don't want to go there really. Do the technique, because the technique is quite simple, but I'd make a cushion so that the cushion would go with that. So we can either stay with the green so that we've got a cushion that matches that, or we can do it with a little splash of red.
Should we ask the audience?
Yes, let's see what they. Because what I'm going to do first is go through the applique, so that's not going to change whichever your quilt is.
So very quickly, whilst we do that, Angela understands my love of clear plastic boxes, as does Lynn. Thank you. The frames for the glasses cases are just being loaded. They are about to go live any minute, Margaret. So don't you worry. She's chomping at the bit.
Chomping at the bit.
She really is this morning, which is great. I totally get it, because we don't have loads and they will sell out. Anne's taking a break. Oh, to watch us. Oh, that's okay.
All right.
The main event's only just started. You can't take a break. She spent yesterday sewing, and I'm picking more of the unpicking than sewing.
Oh, I had a day like that on Monday.
Just wasn't happy with the project. We'll attack it with more enthusiasm today. Do you know what, Anne? I've got a lot of handles. You see, this is the problem, isn't it? It's not that I am a perfectionist, but I am. Yeah, I will absolutely be unpicking all those bag handles. But do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do it on a Sunday afternoon when the kids and I sit down and watch a movie.
Yeah, that's the sort of thing, isn't it? It doesn't take too much thinking about.
Yeah.
Ideal.
Because they will be tacked in place. I feel I've peaked. If I ever come up with such a great idea again, just throw a bucket of cold water over me or something and just say behave.
This is your applique pattern.
Oh, do you want to? There we are.
We got it?
No,
yeah,
there we are.
This is the applique. It's in the reverse. Lisa's thought of everything. It's the reverse because we're using the bonded technique, so you'll need a bit of bonder web.
Without doubt, red.
Okay.
It's sounding quite popular on the old red front.
You're definitely going to need red. I'm just having a look here to see how much. She hasn't actually said, and I think I just had a ½ metre piece of bonder web when I was doing mine. It doesn't actually say how much bonding you'll need. So yeah, I'm confident that a ½ metre piece, which is what this is, will do. You need 9 leaves. So for the quilt.
It's not a lot, is it?
So I think 1/2 metre is going to be fine. Now, what you're going to need to do is you're going to have 1/2 and the second half. So it's 2 halves. You're going to need 9 of each.
Right.
On part 2, you're going to add a 1/4 inch-ish seam allowance.
Oh, is that so that you
It
don't have
tucks
to
underneath, yeah. So you don't
Right.
have to butt them up, and so therefore you're going to get a nicer finish. So if you want to do what I've just done, just to remind yourself that you're going to need that little bit extra of part 2.
Okay.
So when you're doing bonded applique, you need to leave a little bit of a space around your piece of bonder web.
Yeah.
So trace your pattern piece off onto the bonder web. So this is first side. So you'll need 9 of side 1, so you can trace all of those in one go.
You can get a little production run going, can't you?
Yes, certainly. And you've got 3 different fabrics for your leaves, so it's a combination of the 3 colours, and you can decide. And I just did it randomly. I did a row of side 1. I cut 3 pieces, and I cut 2 pieces, and then there was 4 pieces, and I just stuck those to the fabrics. And then I did the same with the side 2, and I just did a different combination. So
Yeah.
you know, it's just to have a little bit of a play. So that's side 1, and then we'll just trace side 2. Now what I did was I made sure that I traced in that part and that part of side 1 just with my seam allowance, because I've got the extra little bit there that is just tucked underneath. Now we're calling this side 2, but actually you'll applique this bit on first. And it doesn't matter if it's not exactly 1/4 inch. If you want to take your ruler out and measure it through, then, you know, by all means do that. Have a nice sharp pencil. Actually, the sew line pencils are perfect for this because they give you a lovely fine line. But, you know, an ordinary HB pencil is just as good. But make sure you're giving it a good sharpen so you've got a nice fine point. Take your paper scissors, and just roughly cut around the outside of your bonder web, at least 1/4 inch. You won't need much more than that really. It's just so that when you apply it to the back of your fabric, when you then cut out your shape, your adhesive is going to be right on the edge of where you cut. So you're going to get less fraying and a nicer, crisper finish. If you cut on your drawn line, then apply it to the back of your fabric and then try to cut around it, you're going to miss bits, and it's going to cause all sorts of complications for you when you then come to apply it.
Jane, there is the great debate.
Yeah.
Which is, which scissors do you use once the bonder web is applied to your fabric?
Yeah, I use my fabric scissors. Possibly my second best fabric scissors.
That's the right answer. Always.
You know, we've all got more than one pair of scissors, and you do have a pair of scissors that, you know, maybe not as sharp as you'd like them to be, but you do want a good pair of nice sharp scissors.
So my next point for you is the teapot on the set behind you in the middle. The rose gold are my
second best.
Yeah, because I
They're
can't
gorgeous
quite.
scissors, though.
Yeah, you've nicked my sew line ones. I'm comfortable with that. It's absolutely fine. And I can't demote my Fiskars, and I've only just got my Inspira ones, and I still very much love those. And they're my generational scissors. They're the ones that are going to last forever. So I don't really want to do that. So I was in a quandary. So The rose gold handled ones.
Yeah, they're just, and we've all got them. Ones that we've had for a long time and they may not be quite as sharp as we'd like them to be or something, but they'll work. They're good enough for cutting fabric.
Yeah.
So I just forgot to put the iron on. So I'm just
It's a
gonna
great
wait.
excuse as well to, you know, maybe treat yourself to a new pair.
Why not? Why not? I'm going to do a very dark, and the 3 shades, you've got 3 shades, I'm going to do light and dark, but they all work together beautifully. Again, you know, be as economical as you can with your fabric. You've got plenty, you're going to have enough to do. I mean, this is the leftovers. These pieces are the leftovers from me doing the quilt. And I've cut 4-inch pieces, and you've actually got slightly more, because it was easier to work out costings by giving you a long 1/8 rather than a 4-inch piece, which is what it says in the pattern. Because of course it's worked in the American way, so it's all done in yardage.
Oh, we need to. We
But
need to.
we're
We need to
working
work that out of her
meters,
for a
so
start.
there we go.
Karen says, I'm usually a red girl, but I'm drawn to the green. Order done.
There's something
you know,
about
there
it's
is
very
something about it.
calming and quite classic about the green.
And classy. Really
Yeah.
classy. The other thing that I was thinking with that is I don't know how easy it would be to frame in a screen.
Frame in a screen.
Oh, you know, yeah, like a
yes.
room divider screen.
Yes.
Because that's the other way that I see it.
I can need my glasses, I can't see.
And I just don't know.
Yes. Somebody else had said something about putting a wall hanging into a like a picture frame.
Yeah.
And I thought, yeah, that would work. It would have protected as well.
You know, I could really see, actually I could really see, I've got the most stunning room divider screen down my end of the bedroom. Our bedroom was 3 rooms, and it sort of got knocked into one massive bedroom. And it's always been the bane of my life because it doesn't feel cosy at all. It just feels echoey and ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I sort of sectioned off my dressing roomy bit with
I'm
with a
just
screen.
cutting this now.
Oh, sorry, Jane.
It's okay. I'm just cutting this exactly on the drawn
On the
line.
line. But I could imagine that actually on Stephen's end. But really nice.
Yes, that would give it. Yeah, it's a little bit classy. Yeah.
I'm going to have to work out how to do that. I guess that, you know, like those Chinese divider,
Yeah.
room dividery things. That's where I'm going. Oh, Maud's in fine voice today. I don't know if our microphones pick up the dogs having a play and a bark and a what's it. It's such a nice day. Maud just likes to be out. I think it's the hound in her.
Yes.
If I put her indoors, she gets really upset. So she just wants to be outside.
And she's having a good old play, isn't she, with Margot?
Whether Margot likes it or
yeah,
not.
whether she wants to play or not. Yeah, so we're just cutting around the actual drawn line now of that applique.
Do you know where else we should put that, Jane? The green one
Yeah.
in the conservatory.
Oh yes, that'd look lovely, wouldn't it?
Wouldn't it? Oh, well, there we go. Place found.
It's got its place.
Is it going to be wrong that we're going to have to move to a larger place just so that we have different coloured rooms to...
Yeah, different quilts in different rooms.
Josh keeps saying that we should sell some of our samples. I'm like, what?
That's like selling your children.
I know! Apparently it's frowned upon. I'm glad your reaction was similar.
I know, but you do get to a point where you're like, I've got all these quilts and all these samples, what am I going to do with them? Right, so this is side 2, which we're going to apply first, and then side 1. Now, if you remember, I just went and drew
Do you
the
want to
line.
just move that across
Yeah,
the
move
middle?
it into the middle.
No.
I drew the line of where the other part was going to sit, and that helps me when I come to line it up. I'll line it up there and just squidge it across so it sits on there. No, I'm just showing you that now so you can see where that is, and you can actually just then take it and line it so that you feel that it's central to your block. And I think half of that gives you the feel, so you can decide, and it actually goes that way on the, so you can decide, you know, whereabouts you want to have. Just make sure that you've got at least ½ an inch here and here for your seam allowances.
Do you know what?
So you can just decide where it goes, there and there. So once you've decided, just move piece 1 out of the way, take a pin and go from the middle and just scratch the pin on the paper until it goes underneath the paper. Don't try and do this to pull the paper off the back. You're only going to end up fraying the edge of your fabric.
And driving yourself slightly mad.
And just losing the will to live. So just slide the pin underneath. You just scratch it, just the point of your pin, until you see it start to fray the back of the paper, and you'll see your pin go underneath. You'll know that it'll come away cleanly, and you get sort of a shiny effect where the adhesive is. Sometimes you'll pull it and you can see the web of the adhesive start to pull away with the paper. If it does that, just take it back to your ironing board and press it again.
That's all, you just haven't
And
pressed
just let it
enough.
cool before you start to try and pull the paper off again.
And that is the key, always let it cool.
Yeah.
So Karen, that's exactly why Karen's bought this, is for a screen.
Brilliant.
Isn't that funny? Great minds and all that.
Always.
I have asked for photographic evidence when she's done it.
Yeah, definitely. We always love to see what people have made. It's always nice to see that you have inspired people and they have gone on to make it. Because we've all got kits that we've seen and we've bought them and they're still in the package that you bought them in.
Well, possibly. I don't know. Karen's pretty whizzy.
Yeah, Karen is very whizzy.
Really whizzy. There's no messing about.
But I've been to quilt shows and seen wonderful things, bought the kits and they're still in like that.
Is that just
because one day...
I'd like to say you'll get some time to actually stitch for yourself.
Well, I get the best of both worlds here, don't I? There we go. So I'm just lining that up now, making sure that that point at the top there, let's go across to the middle again.
I'm just laughing because Joanna's trying to say that she doesn't need any more fabric.
So I've got these 2 points here lined up. So that covers that part there and that covers that part at the top.
Yeah.
Just so that I know that I'm in the right place. And again, I'm just going to take it to the iron and just press that down.
Fiona's loving the 3D effect of it. It's just clever.
It does, it's brilliantly done.
It's really, Lisa is really clever. There's no two ways about it, is there, Jane? We heart her very, very much.
We love her patterns and everything. They're very concise, they're very clear. They're just easy to follow. There is, I'll go back to it when we've done this. So you can either buttonhole stitch it, satin stitch it. I am just going to go around it with a straight stitch, just inside the edge, just to hold it down. Because the thing is, if you were going to put this on a wall and never touch it again, just hang it, you could probably get away with not having to oversew it. But if you're going to wash it at some point, it may not come off the first time or the second time or even the third time, but eventually the adhesive will wash away and they'll start to come apart. So it's always a good idea just to stitch over it, particularly if you're going to be using it as a bed quilt or a cushion or whatever you feel that you're going to use it for.
Hang on, Jane Alcock.
Yes?
What colour thread is going on here?
Well, I might have just snuck into which one is it? It's the Pangolian. Is it Pangolian?
I don't know what a Pangolian is, but yes.
They're very rare and actually they're endangered species, aren't they, at the moment? And they've got these little scales and they roll themselves up into a little ball.
Oh, yes,
and unfortunately, somebody's decided that their scales are medicinal purposes or aphrodisiac purposes and they're being hunted, and black marketed.
That's really mean.
They're an endangered species at the moment.
Do you know, Maud's an endangered species.
Yeah, and it's sad. And that's because and I'm going to say this, thank goodness we don't hunt otters anymore.
We don't hunt otters anymore, but they were wrongly accused.
Yes,
though, Jane.
I mean,
it was actually
it's
the
like any
dirty
dog
water.
they used for.
They would be amazing for search and rescue.
Yes,
with
of course
that
they would.
nose,
Yeah.
they should be repurposed.
And be happy searching in water as well.
She's happy searching anywhere, to be
Yeah.
fair, unless it's clean water. She's not such a fan of that, if I'm completely honest.
So I went all the way around the edge.
What?
Close,
Hang on. Whoa,
close to
Margaret.
the
How can
edge.
the pangolin be blamed for coronavirus? I thought it was bats they were blaming originally.
I've not heard that one. I
No,
thought it was
I haven't
bats.
heard that one. Oh, you can't. Well, you're not going to get it.
Well,
off
it's not the
threads anyway.
pangolin, is it? It's the blooming people that eat them and use them and whatever else.
Do whatever else they're doing to them.
We won't.
Oh,
Don't get me on my soapbox about it.
Jane. Step down. Step down.
Yeah.
I didn't know. Who thought that a thread could spark such
A
excitement?
debate.
I was just admiring the colour.
Yes.
It looks like bronze from
It
here.
does, and
really
it's got,
beautiful.
It's got a beautiful sheen to it, and it works with all three of the greens. It just works beautifully with all of them, so it blends really nicely.
It would be fair to say that we might have kept one of each of the colour blenders because they're rather beautiful, and I couldn't choose.
Well, you know, and who doesn't need Orophil in their stash?
Right. Yes.
And I get to use them too.
You know, we do nothing if not share here.
You know.
That's for sure. Oh, well, I think I'm right in saying that Orophil, when you buy these, I mean, you don't need to worry about it because we've already bought it, so that money will have already gone towards them. But they are helping these endangered animals because each of these are named after an endangered animal.
Yeah.
And so they're trying to do stuff to help.
Which is lovely, isn't it? It's sort of. And I think
Don't think
there's
I'm wrong in
more
saying
and more places that do that.
Oh, Fiona said they blamed both at one point. There they are, throwing the blame around left, right and
blame the
centre.
animals.
Poor little critters. And actually, it's like when you
It's
blame a dog,
man.
isn't it?
Yeah,
for
it's the man,
for
not the
being bad.
animal.
It's not the animal. It's like
So
with
I've just
dogs,
taken
it's the other
that
side of the leash.
first thread through to the back, and I'm just going to tie it off. I can trim it down, but I don't need to do anything else with it because it's going to be eventually behind a piece of wadding.
Oh yeah, that's very true.
So it's just taking it through to the back.
Jane, Elizabeth would like to know, Jane, how do you like the machine?
I love the machine. I can't wait to try to do some proper quilting. I've done a bit of wiggly squiggly on it.
Free motion.
Yeah.
It's meant to be incredibly good for that, actually.
So are we going with red then?
Yeah, I think that was the cry.
Okie dokie. Right, so I'd already cut my black ready, but I will cut some red, and I'll do a cushion. So I'm just going to give this a press. Is there any best press left in there?
That has actually got flatter in it. I'm waiting
right.
for my flatter delivery.
Just give it a bit
Oh,
more flatter
Anne says,
then.
my problem with Orophil is I save them for best, but the best is never best enough for them. And every day is best.
Yeah, no,
you know,
say it for the best, just
I
use it.
firmly believe this. Also, you get 1,000 metres on a spool, so there's plenty on them.
Yeah.
And actually, I
Ooh,
worked
isn't
out...
this a lovely smell?
It's lovely, isn't it? It's all
Smells sort of
natural.
appley.
Yeah. I used to do that, Anne, and as someone who used to save it for best, I don't anymore because every day should be best. And I think the pandemic sort of proved that to me. Every day should be best.
Yeah. But
Because-
somebody said to me the other day, you know, it's a birthday. It's your birthday. Is it a special one? Like, yeah, every day birthday's special. Because the
Yeah.
alternative's pretty awful.
Absolutely.
Not having
Absolutely.
a birthday. Yeah. Yes, I think I know what Anne's saying, because you think, oh, well, I'll save my Orophil for, you know, a nice project, a really important one. But actually...
Oh, there we go. Here's the official line. The colour inspiration for this year's Orophil Colour Builder collection is drawn from 12 endangered species who are currently in need of attention, advocacy and compassion. I think the pangolin, I'm glad you're using the pangolin today because I think they definitely need some compassion,
They certainly
advocacy
do.
and attention. Orophil is partnered with Earth League International. That's who I couldn't remember to help achieve these goals. Well, do you know what? Well done, Orophil.
Yeah.
And
It'll
Ooh.
highlight things as well, won't it? Because hopefully you'll get these beautiful colours and you'll think, oh, what sort of creature's that?
So Leslie
read
says
up
she's not
about
very
it.
competent at applique. Just stick it on, you'll be fine. Can we see a close up of the stitching, please?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do that. Ooh. The trick is if you're not very, if you're not, it's just a straight stitch.
It's a straight stitch. It's a bit close there and it's a bit wide apart there, but it's going to hold it on and, you know, 6 foot away and on a galloping horse, you're not going to notice. So, yeah.
Elizabeth loves a birthday. Anyone's. She's always happy for a birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any reason for cake.
That's it. Happy breakfast, cake for breakfast day.
Definitely.
It's basically what it's known as here, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not that we need that excuse. Apparently we're quiet when the overhead camera is on. I think that might just be that we concentrate when the overhead's on.
And also, it might be the distance of microphones, might it?
I don't know why. Yeah, but
well,
if your
microphones are right here, aren't
it's
they?
right there.
But I know that the close-up, the microphones go quieter. Right. I'm just cutting a 1.5 inch strip to start with. That's for the frames. Okay. That's right. Yeah. So I'm just having to think now what we said we were doing with the black. It's okay. Just bear with me.
Leslie's just said thank you. I wouldn't have thought of doing straight stitch. Make life easy.
It's enough for this, and maybe, you know, a satin stitch, a zigzag, a buttonhole might be a little bit heavy and distract from the leaf. It's not a huge amount of applique,
No.
so I think the straight stitch is light enough to not distract from it.
PT says every day as a cake for breakfast day here. That's why Lycra is our friend, or not our friend.
Yeah.
One or the other, Jem.
Depends what sort of mood you're in.
My mum always said that middle-aged men should be Lycra tested before they were allowed out on their bikes. She's like, some just shouldn't. It's a bit harsh there, Mum. And I now wonder, I always used to think, like when I was and now I look back, like when I was in my 20s and had a beautiful figure and didn't appreciate it in one
thought
jot.
we were fat and
And,
big hips, whatever.
and that was when I first started having neck and back problems. When I was 18, I was in a car crash and that set everything off. And I just remember every time I went to a back guy, they'd want you in your bra and your pants. And I just used to think to myself, because it's awkward and it's embarrassing and all those sorts of things. Just to think that they'll have always seen worse. And now 2 children down, I'm like, oh, I'm rapidly heading towards that worse. How did that happen?
So we've got the strips here. These are going to frame the applique, and it's they're 1.5. All the measurements are in the pattern, and we're just pressing them in half, wrong sides together. If there was a wrong side, if you're using a pattern fabric or whatever, it's wrong sides together, just in half. And there we go.
Anne says, as a lifelong cyclist, you have to be grateful for Lycra. The early version was horrific. But she did marry a lovely man. Oh, you see? There you go.
Well, this is it. Everything has its bonuses.
Oh, doesn't that pop with the red?
Yeah. So you're going to line up 2 of your strips, top and bottom, with the raw edges of the folded in against the edge of the fabric. And you might just want to pin them in place. And you're basically going to tack them down. Now, if you want to do it by hand, you can. But what I was doing, because obviously time was not on my side, is I just lengthened the stitch on my machine and just you know, 1/8 of an inch in. So if I just take the stitch length up, I'll take it up to 5 on here. You do have to remember then that you have to
take it back down.
Take it back down. And you're just against the edge, just to hold the layers together, really. Because I did all of my applique squares first and did all the frames. And then I did all the cutting out first. and then did all my applique and then started to construct it. And I'm pretty sure that's the way that Lisa tells you in the instructions.
It is Pam's mother-in-law's 81st birthday today, so she says happy cake day. Happy cake day indeed.
Happy cake day.
If anybody else has got a happy cake day?
You might find that your fabric pushes itself over, so just line up and just trim.
Do you know, I find
edge
this
off.
sometimes. We forget there is a little bit of give in fabric.
Yes.
And sometimes I panic and I think, why am I panicking? Just trim it off.
Just trim it.
No one's going to ever know.
It might be when you're cutting it, you might have been a bit generous when you were cutting it. Don't worry about it. I maybe didn't line it up properly square there, but it's going to disappear into the seam anyway. So, and then you just go side and side and just covering, it covers over that end and doing exactly the same thing. Lining up the
perfect.
So it lines up either end. And again, you just tacking it down.
Oh, there we go. Oh, Karen's eldest is 40 today. Yeah, I'm glad you do that. So it's a bit of a beast sometimes, isn't
Yes,
it? And
it
you
just
put
goes,
your foot
woo!
down and you forget it's actually a Ferrari and off it goes. Anyway, Karen's eldest daughter is 40 today, so she's feeling a little bit old. Do you know what? We were saying the other day, isn't it amazing the length of life that we now enjoy?
Yes.
You know, you probably wouldn't in days gone by. Well, she might not have made 40, you might not have made, you know, be there to... It's just, it's a privilege. Every day is a privilege. We're so lucky. We're so lucky. I think that's why in Shakespeare's day, they're all married at 14.
Yeah. Well, this is it. You were very lucky to make it to 40, weren't you, in those days? Because they didn't have the healthcare and everything else, and the diet and all of the other things that we have today.
Susan's never made a quilt before, but she is tempted.
Oh,
Jane, you temptress.
This is what
Boxes
we do.
and stationery. Think material is now added to my list. Wowzers. It's a slippery slope. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
It's a very beautiful slippery slope, but it is a slippery slope. And you'll go from that stage. Do you remember that stage, Jane, when you first started sewing, where you just had a box?
Yeah, one box.
Yeah.
Well, you bought what you needed for your project.
Yeah.
And then that was it. You made your project and
Yeah.
you didn't keep any scraps, you know. I wouldn't have kept a piece like that. I will now. I would now.
Of course you would. Of
You could do a lot with a piece
would.
like that now.
You could do so much.
So you'll do all of your applique squares with your frame, whether it be the red or the green.
Loving that.
That's what you do there. Now in this pattern, you've got all of the cutting, and they are labelled piece A, piece U, piece Q. I would recommend.
Should you want to show? There we are.
There we go. With my cut through piece, that you cut each piece and you label them, because when you come to lay them out, and there's a beautiful diagram there, you can see each piece is labelled.
Sorry. There we go.
Each piece has that letter on it for the layout of the quilt. So I got some, sticky labels and just wrote the letter on and stuck it on the fabric. It was enough to hold it for when I then came to put them together. Right, I'm going to cut, because I had cut pieces, but I'm just going to change the two. I'm just worried that if I cut into that.
What are you worried about? Tell us, Jane. Tell us your worries.
I was just worried about cutting into the red and the ivory, but I think we'll have enough, won't we?
If not, we'll simply get more.
Right, so if I do the pop of thread.
Simply buy more.
That was 1, 2, 3,
Lo
4,
says that
5
Jeff
and a
has
half.
told her to stop calling the house a craft room.
Yeah.
Do you need a bigger craft room, dear?
Somebody had said, I've got all my fabric in boxes, in a box. And the husband said, "Stop calling our house a box."
Oh. It's nice to see you, Lo. Where have you been? Have I missed you this week? I don't know if you've been here or if you've been busy in your moho. Yeah, Pam says that her eldest was 40 last November, which is amazing as she's only 30. Oh, Jane's counting.
Just making sure I've got the right.
She's giggling,
Sorry,
but counting at the same.
Can you hear the cogs whirring then? Could you hear them?
They are. They are.
Just like. Oh.
So my question is, Lo, how much crafty stuff do you put in your motorhome? That's what I want to know. Hi, John. He says, oh, Stitchy Witchy Wednesday with that stunning Lisa fabric. Swoon. Yep. We're doing a red version, John. Shh, don't tell Lisa. Do you know Lisa, bless her?
She's gone to bed.
I think so. I don't know. I think she's been quite busy.
She was doing an exhibition, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was. And then she sent me a photo of her poor family, her grown-up son and her husband being made to sat to watch our shows. Lisa, that's really unfair. I'm sure that, you know, there's something they'd rather be watching.
Oh.
That's dedication.
Yes, it is.
That's dedication. But she's also said that I'll demo one of her stuff with her tips, and her husband will sit there and go, "Oh, yeah, that's clever." She's like,
"Yeah, I say that all the time.
That's my thing.
That's
like,
my
but
tip.
like, I taught Natasha how to do it. It's my thing." Like, yeah. Oh, John. You know. He's going, I mustn't look. Yeah, you'll look.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, she says, I've been here, says Lo. Been working. But they keep bringing her in on meetings. Oh, you see, this is it. They're all back in the office now, aren't they? Rude.
Yeah. I came past one of our local pubs and there was all people sitting outside and I was like, what are they? Oh, yeah, the pubs are open.
Yeah. It's suddenly got
What are all those people doing there?
How very dare they? It has suddenly gone very peoply out there.
Yes.
Oh,
funny.
so the mohome is 8 metres. She's got crochet, redwork, and a I want to read it as kimono, but it's not. Going on a road trip on Friday until Sunday week. Beware, people. We may be coming your way.
Ooh.
Wouldn't that be nice? Could you imagine if they rocked up here?
Yeah.
That would give us more excuse to eat cake.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, not that we need it.
Loads of excuses to eat cake.
Yeah. Laurie says, John, I bet it's in the basket already. This is all John's fault. Can we're blaming John, aren't we, for this? If John hadn't have introduced me to Lisa, this would never have been a thing.
Well, isn't that lovely though? Because we've got all this gorgeous fabric because of it, and these lovely patterns.
We have a lot. We have a lot to be thankful for.
I'm cutting these to my own sizes. I'm
How are you now?
because I've worked out for a 20-inch cushion what I needed to do compared to the square. So this is just because I wanted to show you how the layout works. And I thought, well, if I do a little cushion, that's a quicker way of showing you the layout and how you work it. So you'll cut all your pieces to the sizes that they are. And as I say, label them. And you've got your 3 leaf patterns which form the blocks in between, and then you've got your background which is the sashing. That's ready. And then you're going to cut the pieces to go in between there. So all of the measurements are here: the sashing fabric, the applique blocks, the sashing between the blocks and the frames. All the measurements are there. Tells you how to do the leaf applique, and then it says quilt top construction. It's a simple case of referring to the quilt diagram and arranging all your blocks in vertical rows. Piece each vertical row together using the sashing. And then, as I say, you've got the layout there with all the numbers of the pieces, and it's straightforward.
Sorry guys, just bear with me for 1 second. Freddie, what glass of the kitten's broken?
Not the other one that had the candle. They actually broke the candle.
They've broken the candle, amazing.
And the glass fell onto the floor.
Okay. Are they going to hurt themselves?
Yes.
Is Daddy there?
No.
Can you very carefully pick it up, or can you ask Inga to help you?
Okay.
Or Gemma? Okay. They are adults that can supervise these things.
Oh, bless him.
Sorry everyone, kitten-based catastrophe.
Bless him. So you've got your sashing strips and you're going to work them into rows. Now, because there's generally 5 pieces. I was working in pairs.
Right.
So I would sew piece A with a sashing strip to the bottom of it, and then sew the applique piece to that, and then I did B and C with the sashing in between, and then I added the applique onto the bottom of there, and then I sewed those 2 pieces together, just to try and keep it as straight as possible, because the weight of it and everything else, it might just curve it slightly. So that's how I did it. Let's just get those 2 strips.
See, Kirsty's got her gum leaves at the ready, and then they went and, you know, asked for a meeting. Work is just getting in the way, isn't it, Pete?
It is.
Let's be honest.
It's just, let's change this to the 1/4 inch foot
I
thing
think
now.
there'll be quite a lot of people, Jane, that will be like, oh, quite enjoyed lockdown, actually.
Do I have to go back?
Do we? Do we? It's awfully peoply out there.
Just looking for the 1/4 inch foot, and now I know I put it back in here. I did, honestly, I did. Oh, there it is.
Have you got it?
Yeah.
It's one of those things, isn't it? I know that it's a little bit of a faff because it's not a click-on foot, but it is worth doing. Oh, you go in from that side. That makes it look easier.
Yeah, I just flipped it. I mean, the thing is that I've got an older machine anyway at home that I have to unscrew from the side every time I want to change the foot. So it's not unusual for me to have to find the screwdriver and unscrew the screw and lose the screw and then put it back and curse the fact that the screw, where's that gone? I just put it down there. So we're just going to sew the sashing. Right, I'm going to change the thread over.
Oh, Jane, you're feeling brave. This is the only thing with this machine, is that it does, it just threads in a slightly different way.
Yeah.
But once you're used to it.
Once you've got used to that way of threading it, it's... And again, if you're used to older machines, going through these tension plates is not that foreign a thing to do. Do you know what I mean? It's,
yeah.
There are a generation of us that
Yeah.
have worked with hand crank machines.
Oh yeah, Laurie, Freddie is very good. He'll always come and tell me if there's something wrong.
He's a little star.
He is. He knows his limits as well. Like he knows what he's comfortable to sort out, and he knows that he'll probably cut himself open if he goes near glass. So he does know to come and...
Come on. You know you want to.
The needle is in sideways on this.
It's an interesting way of doing it, but because it's designed to be a quilting machine that you could use within a frame, so you would have the machine facing you, that's why the needle goes the other way.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Have you done it or not? Do you want me to do it?
Nearly. If it doesn't work, we resort to the old-fashioned method.
Gary was laughing at me because he's like, he said, you're thinking about it now. I did it first 3 times perfectly,
Yeah.
and then I thought about it and then just couldn't do it.
I've done it 3 times this morning, changing things over.
Anne's been for a run.
There
Love
we
the
go.
gum leaves.
There
Do you
we
think
go.
the fabric would be suitable for a tablecloth? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Of course it would
It's
be.
a lovely weight cotton. It really is.
If you haven't had, I mean, and just to give you an idea, what we've noticed with the Lisa fabric, because it wasn't easily or readily available in the UK, there were a few people that had it. I know that John had a little bit left and a couple of other people, but it wasn't readily available in the UK. So we've kind of filled that gap. And of course, because it's new, and I made a big claim saying that the quality of the substrate, the quality of the fabric is at least as good as Liberty. It really is.
It is. Yeah. It's a beautiful base cloth.
Not only that, but the gold and the silver that's on there, it sparkles.
Yeah.
And Lisa has gone for the very, very top-notch best that you can get. It adds $1 a meter onto the price of the fabric when it's being made, but she, you know, that's, which in fabric making terms is actually a lot. But it just lifts and highlights. So this fabric is super, super luxurious, which means that it's perfect for for so many applications. Have you seen the nose at the window?
Being watched.
I just turned around and Maud has climbed on the bench in the garden and she's just having a little look.
Margot had a good bark at me the other morning. I was in here doing some prep and I looked up and she was woofing at me like, how dare you be in mine? So that's 2 pieces joined together with the sashing in. As I say, for the quilt you would make long strips in that fashion, and as I found easier to join 2 parts together and then join the next part on, or 2 or 3, depending on the size of the pieces. And what I'm going to do for the cushion point of view is I'm going to join that and that one there.
Sue, yes, we can show the Aurifil Blues boxes. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So one is blue and one is teal, for sure.
One's macaw, isn't it? The
Yeah.
teal ones is a macaw one, and is it a blue whale? Is it the shark?
The whale shark.
Whale shark is the
So
blues.
yeah, we have got a deal on whereby if you buy 3, you get the 3rd box at half price. Because I just, it's what we could afford to do and spread the Aurifil love just while we introduce these. So, you know, maybe if you've got a birthday or something, you treat yourself. Natasha, says Elizabeth, if you eau de coat for a tablecloth, does it help prevent stains? Yes. So what I would say is eau de coat your fabric beforehand. You only need put 1 layer on. I heard someone say the other day, oh well, the more eau de coat you put on, the more waterproof it is. That's not actually technically correct. What happens is the more layers of, as long as you make sure that you cover the warp and the weft threads, so work it in with the little credit card size plastic spatula thing that comes with it. Work it in warp and weft. I did that with our Tim Holtz cushion pads for our dining room table, and we've had those now for a couple of years, and they're brilliant. You just wipe them clean, and actually I'm thinking of reinstating them because the other seats that we've got just are not. They don't have that kind of protective anything on, and they're just getting ruined because the kids just put their sticky fingers on everything. But yeah, with the eau de coat, I would, if you're sewing it for a tablecloth, I would put on 1 layer. The more layers you put on, the shinier it gets. And that's the difference. It doesn't make it more waterproof or anything like that as long as you put it on correctly the first time. It just makes it glossier and more shiny. So if you want a shiny finish on your tablecloth, great. But if you don't, if you just want it so that you can wipe it down, and my kids still use the placemats that I made over a year ago with the Lewis and Irene. Oh gosh, it had a really funny name and I can't remember
Oh, was
what
that
it
one
was.
with the narwhals on and everything?
Yeah, with the narwhals and everything on.
Yes.
And it had a really funny name.
Yes.
And I know that Ben said to Hannah at Lewis and Irene, you can't call it that because no one will be able to say it. And now I've forgotten it. So he was maybe right. But don't tell him I said that. I
used black thread, joining everything together purely because there's so much black on it, and sometimes when you're pressing seams back, and if you, because I'm an advocate of a taupe colour, usually that's all that's ever on my machine.
I know. I saw the what was it called? Slipstream? No. The new thread that you went. Can I have one of those?
Oh yes, Airstream.
Airstream. That's it. It's the colour of the caravan, isn't it? It's amazing.
But for black, when you're sewing black on black or whatever, I would always say to you, use black thread. because sometimes when you press, for all the best will in the world, you press your seams back and you can be a bit enthusiastic, it will show the thread. So I decided to do my piecing with a black thread, just to give it the better. So in the instructions, you cut so many pieces width of fabric to make the long sashing, and you join them together like you would your binding with your 45-degree angle. And if I just do that with this piece, because I'm going to need this piece to make the third piece of sashing, I'm just going to cut the selvage bits off, just to show you the way that's done. And I think a 45-degree sashing, not only does it reduce seam bulk, but the eye can't see an angled seam as well as it sees a straight seam. So it doesn't matter where it falls in your...
Is that what it is?
I think that's the reasoning behind it. I think your eye looks for straight lines. And so if it sees one that's out of place, I mean, if you could line up your straight seam with one of the blocks or something like that, it wouldn't be so obvious. And obviously when you've quilted and what have you, it doesn't show so much anyway. I'm just going to do this.
I have, for anybody who is interested, I've just ordered more of the shelf stuff. That's very, what's the word?
Oh, the non-slip thing
yeah,
for the bed.
Thank
the bed
you, Jane.
pocket.
Thank you. I've just ordered some more of those because Gemma's just told me that we've sold out. So I've just ordered some more. They'll be here tomorrow.
Now you probably saw me just fold that. The crease was enough for me, but you might want to mark your 45-degree line. So you just place the 45-degree line of your ruler on your strip and you would mark that line there and sew on the line. And then you'll cut 1/4 inch away from that sewn line. So cutting the corner off. And then press the seam open. Again, it just reduces the bulk and makes it lie flatter. Tummy's grumbling. I hope that's not being picked up on the microphone.
I can hear it from here, Jane. Did you not have cake? See, that wouldn't be happening if you'd had cake for breakfast,
Yeah.
would it?
So joining the rows together, and again I would join the rows together in pairs and then join the pairs together, just because it makes it slightly easier bulk wise when you're sewing, rather than sewing one onto one onto one on. By the time you get to the end one, you've got quite a heavy weight which will pull and drag you and maybe affect the tension on your machine. And again, you know, if you want to pin, if you feel happier pinning, and you might want to with such a long piece, when it comes to it, by all means do that. I don't know why I did that, because I'm going to need more and it's not been very economical, but
But these things happen.
so we'll press that away and we'll join the other strip on. And this is just giving you a sort of an idea of the effect that you'll get. Obviously with your quilt, you're joining more pieces together, but the effect is a similar one. So you'll join your next row of pieces and applique onto that sashing strip. And again, as I say, if you want to line up and pin, and probably for such a long piece it would make it easier for you.
Well, this is very good. It's coming together a treat, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm going to cut a piece from that backing there, just to, because I'm going to need some more. So I hadn't got enough in the offcut that I'd got from the actual quilt. So I'll just cut a strip from the... So you'll join all your rows in pairs, and then you'll join the pairs together, and you then need to put a piece of sashing on either side of your finished quilt top.
Lovely. Doesn't that look good? I'm pleased we did it in the red. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
I'm going to trim off at the end here. My sashing strip is a little bit longer, so I'm just going to trim that, and that will help me when I come to join the top and bottom piece on. So I'm just going to join the side. I'm going to cut another piece of black just so that I've got it.
Oh, I do like this. I like it a lot.
I think the red just gives it a little bit, it sort of pops it, doesn't it, a little bit?
It's a completely different look, isn't it?
Yeah. Brightens it slightly, I think.
It's just, well, I will never fail to be amazed what colours can do.
Yeah, it's how the colours play against each other. And as I say, we've changed, just changed the green for the taupe, just because it's a softer colour, and the green, although it says it's green, it's quite yellowy, and I think the yellow doesn't play well with the red, so we've just changed, in the red kit, we've just changed that round.
It's all good. So also a last call today for anybody wanting the wristlet kits. Tomorrow the prices have to go up. Yeah, that was just the 3-day introductory price. That was as long as we could hold that price for. And then they've got to go up. So yeah, a little special offer there for you. So if you wanted any of the wristlet kits with the Lisa Chandler fabrics, we've either got them with black or brown PU or with the cork. Do take a look, because yeah, the price has to go up tomorrow. I don't know, I had to sing that to you.
It's just some words that you do, isn't it? Like we don't ever say navy here, we always go, in the navy.
Oh yeah, no we do, it's true, it is true.
And gold as well. Gold!
Gold!
Some words
yeah.
have to be sung.
Yeah,
As I say, it's an awful place to work. It's really hard.
Because we make you sing.
Make you sing when you can't sing.
It's good for you.
It's all good fun. It brightens the day. So I've just sewn one strip onto the one side, and then I'm going to sew another strip onto the other side, and then we'll do top and bottom. And that sort of gives you the idea of the construction process for the whole quilt, really, because it's done in very much a similar way. You'll sew your you make your strips, sew your strips together, with your sashing in between, and because the sashing in between is, there's no seam matching. As I say, I think, you know, for somebody that would want to make a quilt for possibly the first time, this is quite a good beginner's quilt, really.
It looks really effective, doesn't it?
It does. It looks really nice. And if you don't feel that, you know, you're up to quilting a quilt this size, would be a nice one to take to have it long arm quilted as well.
And it wouldn't cost you the earth, would it?
No, because it's not a big one. So press that away. With the sashing, I always press towards the black. And again, that helped sort of frame each piece nicely.
Makes sense.
So with your quilt, you'll have put your 2 pairs of rows together, joined those rows together with a piece of sashing, so you've got 6 rows, and then you sew a row on one side and a row on the other side. When you've got those done, you will add a row to the top and the bottom. And I think just try and keep it as straight as you can. It's always worth just trimming. If it goes a little bit over at the end, if it's stretched a little bit, just trim those bits off. It just helps you in the long run with lining everything up.
And that's the thing, don't feel like you've gone wrong if that happens.
Yeah, don't think...
It just happens, it's just a thing that happens.
Sometimes it does, the fabric gets pushed. You might have just not been standing square to your ruler when you cut it, so it might have cut a little bit wider. It might have slipped slightly. You know, I don't think it's the end of the world, and if it's bigger, then that doesn't matter because you can always trim it down. If it's shorter, I would have a look at your measuring and look at your seam allowance as well.
Right. Do that thing.
Yeah, because I mean, Lisa's obviously worked out the size with her seam allowance.
Yeah.
And as we've said before, everybody's machines, they're 1/4 of an inch.
Lisa's a
Can
Benina
vary
girl.
from machine to machine, but the measurements you've got there are going to be, you know,
Yeah.
within.
Thank you, Kirsty. Philosophile.
That's it. Philosophile.
That's the one. That's the one. It's quite a soothing one, actually, isn't it?
Yes. And we'll press that up and away. On the quilt that Lisa's done, when she came to quilt it, she quilted around the outside edge of the leaf shape, and then she did a bit of stipple quilting, which is done by hand. It's just like an individual stitch. And then long arm quilted the rest of the quilt. So
we haven't got it, have we? Her actual one?
no,
How do you know these things?
because she tells you in the instructions.
Oh, okay, there we go.
I don't think this piece is quite long enough. No, it's not. I've got a piece I can just chunk on the end of there, just to finish it. Yeah, I'm going to do a straight seam. If I do a straight seam there, that will line up with the sashing, and then it won't look so obvious that it's a straight seam. Just press that bit there. And then she'd done like an overall, and it's a squiggle, a wiggly squiggle meander stitch, but then she's done like a leaf every so often that mirrors the leaf pattern in the quilt.
Oh, nice.
Which is lovely.
Very nice.
But I framed each of the colours. I went on the black sashing, just outside the frame, and then I did my meander just in the pattern fabric.
Yeah.
Because I just hadn't got the confidence to do it all over with on my machine. I just didn't feel I could do it justice, and I was, you know, again, a little bit of a time constraint, so I just wanted to get it finished really, so I just did it that way. And I think, you know, it works just as well. It's finished, it looks fine.
Well, no one ever knows what the original looked like.
No, I mean,
that's the thing, isn't
anybody else won't have seen the pattern and won't have seen what it looks like. Only you have your pattern that you're working towards. And, you know, it wouldn't look bad if you did a cross hatch over it all the way, you know, just a straight stitch cross hatch, or just did parallel lines through.
I mean, you could probably get away with just with echo quilting either inside or outside of each of the panels.
Yeah, I mean, some of the panels are a little bit long and it might not withstand a couple of washes, but there's nothing to stop you, you know, doing a bit of hand quilting and just going around some of the leaves within the panels, which would look quite nice.
Oh, yes.
Or even do that on your machine, you know, just do a few, highlighting a few of the leaves, which would look lovely.
Elizabeth is giggling at your chunk on the end. Should I like that? Jane makes everything doable. Well, it is, and you know, just and not to stress about
yeah, it's
it
just
either.
like at the end of the day, it's black on black. It's not going to show in the grand scheme of things. You know, in your own mind, how you are with your finishing. If that bothers you, cut another piece. I've got plenty of black there. I could have cut another piece, but to me, why, when I've got that bit there, it's not, I don't think it will distract from the pattern of the actual quilt. We all know the sort of person that we are, and whether we can live with a slightly mismatched seam and a point that's, you know, that's been knocked off the end of it, it's gone flat at the end, or you know how you can, what you can live with, and you know your own limitations. So if you feel that that's not, you can't do that, just cut some more fabric. It's fine. And I can just line that up there and just cut that bit off then. And I would, to make this into a cushion, I would just layer that up now, and
oh yes, that's lovely.
and that gives you the effect, doesn't it? And with the red, that just pops it enough, which gives it quite a nice,
for sure,
a nice. So I quilted around the edge there. I quilted around the edge of the leaf, and then I quilted 1/4 of an inch away, just to give it a bit more, sort of made the leaf stand out. I quilted in the black around each piece, and then, as I say, I just did a meander.
Gorgeous.
Across each part there. In the same colour, it was a sort of like this lovely goldy colour, so it blended with all of the fabrics, even on the black. It worked. So
perfect. Yeah. Well done, Jane. Good job.
It's a lovely pattern. It's easy to follow.
Do you want to just hold it up so we can see how the red looks instead of the...
If I pop it against the...
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll stay. No, it won't. But you can see how that would look within your quilt. Like so. With it falling down.
Or not. It's all good.
In the way of it.
Oh, no, it's all good. Don't worry, Jane. It was just a thought.
Yeah,
thank you. Jane, thank you so much.
You're
Next week,
we're
what
doing
we
the
butterfly.
Oh, the bee. The bee.
Ah, here we go.
There we go. Look, you can see what it's like within the... There you go. That's a better idea of how the red would look in an overall scheme of it. I'll just go and disappear and get the bee.
The bee. This is a design by a very lovely lady called Tracy. She's very happy for us to use said design.
I'm just wrecking Natasha's desk.
Jane's wrecking stuff. It's all good. We're comfortable with that. And this, it was up on the wall the other day.
Yes, it was. It's a lovely quilt. Lovely. We've got a slightly different colourway, which is beautiful.
With beautiful Moda grunges, because this is an older Alison Glass design.
Yeah.
With the fabric that's in here, but think you're going to love what we've got for you.
I
I
think
do.
It's going to be
And
gorgeous.
Tracy was happy with what we chose as well. So
Yeah.
all good. So this is, yeah. And is it just, it's squares and half square triangles,
and
right?
half square triangles.
So
Lovely
super
to
easy.
do. Yeah, another nice straightforward one for you. And one, you know, this could be, you could do it by hand and do a few squares at a time.
Yeah.
So
Perfect.
you know, it could be a sit in the car doing it type of project while you're waiting for the kids, because they'll be back at swimming and football and
All those shenanigans.
gymnastics and all those things.
Shenanigans. All of that.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much. So that is our quilt for next week.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I can't remember what I'm doing next week. I can't remember what I'm doing tomorrow. Where am I tomorrow?
Chandler.
Oh, yeah. Craft store.
Oh, yes,
I've got
sorry,
to remember.
yes,
I've
yeah.
got to start calling it the craft store, not Chandler, else I'll get told off.
Yes.
That is where I am. I've got, at 10 o'clock, I've got a little chat with Kaffe live.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
A live one?
A live one.
Oh, how nice.
Yeah, just a little, not like the 2 hours that we did. Yeah, no, we're limited to about half an hour or so with him tomorrow, but it'll be nice to catch up with him.
Yeah.
We're going to chat about his new book, so do make sure that you pop your book, his book, in your basket and grab his book, because it is
You've got a
gorgeous.
signed one as
And
well.
it's signed as well. That
Which is
really,
nice.
really means something, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
I love that. And at some point, I'm going to do some of the quilts in there.
Lovely.
I've got my eye on one. I'm
There's
just
so many
waiting.
beautiful ones.
I
in
know,
there.
I know. And when I just went quiet, it was because I was just tracking my order for the fabrics that I want for it. I was like, oh, because that will have an impact as to what I do next week. Hurrah! Anyway,
Lovely.
all stuff that you guys really don't need to know about. All the boring logistics. Jane, thank you so much. You
You're
are a
welcome.
superstar. Thank you everyone for joining us. Yeah, so if you want the Kaffe book, grab that, the colour builder as well, because otherwise they'll go on Chandler and they'll sell, and then I won't have any left for you. So get them here first. Make sure that you've got them. They make beautiful gifts as well.
Yes.
Really beautiful
nice.
gifts. And also, if you wanted any of the wristlets, please note that the prices will go up at midnight tonight. They have to. All right. Okay. Take care, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Lots of love. Bye, 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 bye.